Welcome back, everybody. Thursday morning edition of Hot Mic rolls on. Big second hour. We'll visit with Brian Meistro, head coach of the University of Jamestown football team. Jimmy's getting ready for their season opener a week from today. We'll do that in about an hour's time. I mentioned off the top of the show, when we get to this time of the year, we've got preseason football. We're on the doorstep of week 0. We got high school football starting tomorrow. There's another event that I always marked on the calendar, like, all right, it's go time, and that begins tomorrow at Fargo Country Club, another edition of the Bobcat Open, one of my favorite sporting events we get to cover around here. A longtime friend of the show and the man who runs the Bobcat Open, Mark Johnson, joins us this morning. Is this like Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve for you today before everything starts tomorrow?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there's a lot of work leading up to it. This is my 19th time doing it, so I'm not saying we've got it down, but yeah, a lot of the work's been done. Now it's get to this starting line. So yeah, in a way, it's like opening the gifts. Let the guys get out there and play Friday morning and just watch the tournament unfold. It's the 60th annual. Can you believe 60 years? Facility Fargo Country Club is hosted thanks to their members and their golf committee and their board of directors agreeing to do the tournament each year. And yeah, so it puts together 60 of these. Is that's an incredible run for a community event.
What would you go back and tell yourself 19 years ago about getting ready for this event or trying to prepare for this event?
Oh, that's a good question. I used to really get worked up over some of the little things that, you want all the little things in line and correct, but you sometimes don't focus on things that take your attention from really the overall goal of the event. And that's the good work we're doing for charity and the Village Family Service Center and giving these young guys, young professionals, an opportunity to have a place to play and make good on a possible stepping stone for them to get to the next level.
Was there ever a year, and I'm sure I've been out there for many of them as well, you thought, weather, I don't know what we're going to do. If it's raining here, we may not be able to finish. Did you ever get that close or worry that much?
Yeah, we had one event. We really had a good stretch, knock on wood, but we had one event. This was not that long ago. I would say 6-7 years ago, where Sunday's round, that rain just kept coming out of Oaks. It looked like it was going to be fine. And we pulled people off the golf course early Sunday morning. And the leaders hadn't even teed off yet. I think the leading amateurs were just teeing off, some of the NDSU guys. And we pulled them off the golf course and we put them back on the golf course. Then there'd be lightning. We'd pull them off. So that went on and on all day. Well, it was the final event of the tour that year. And they had a big bonus pool. And the guys, the way our rules were, if we can't complete the third round, the tournament goes final after 36 holes. That's 2 rounds of golf. And then they'd get all that money and all those bonus points. So I had half the guys that wanted to play in my office telling me, we got to play this event. Of course, then I started looking at their points list and they were just outside the top 10 points list. Then everybody that said, we can't play this, it's too wet, they're lobbying me, we can't play this event, it's unplayable. I looked, those guys were in the top 10.
Yeah.
So, but you work with the team, you work with staff, golf course superintendent out there, Dave Lorenz, he's been there forever, his team. It was literally unplayable. We could have tried to have them come back Monday morning, but that's just, that wasn't going to work for a lot of those guys. They need to get onto their next bigger and better event. And so we called it after 36 holes. We made half the field happy and we made half the field upset.
Right? It's sports. You're never going to make everybody happy. This is kind of the name of the game there. I know when you got Tom Hoagie to come back a few years ago, Mark, it was a huge deal. Was there ever one you saw a guy sign up like, whoa, that's a name I never maybe expected to come through Fargo?
Yeah, there was a gentleman that was, he played with Phil Mickelson in the U.S. Open when Phil kind of imploded on the 72nd hole. That's the one major Phil hasn't won. I want to say his last name is maybe Barry. He's from England. And he was late 40s at the time, and he signed up to play. And I think he was just trying to find events to tune up for the Champions Tour. And I haven't seen him. I've seen his name surface maybe in a major, not like a senior major, maybe the British Open over there, Senior Open. That was one name that came through that I went, wow, okay, this guy's been in the final pairing in a U.S. Open. That's pretty impressive. And he's here playing Fargo Country Club. So, kind of neat to see John Harris. John Harris came through and played, kind of again tuning up for a run on the Champions Tour. So yeah, those would be two names for sure.
When you look at the evolution of the golf course, how much is it just in your mind, has it changed from when you started to what you're going to see tomorrow?
Oh, how the course has changed,
Yeah.
Don.
Yep.
Yeah, the course is a little handcuffed for length, but we have added a couple tees where we can get a little more length out there. I think the overall course conditions, just with the evolution of equipment and now with the new irrigation system that they have at Fargo Country Club, just really being control of if it's fairway height, rough height, green firmness, everything's just gotten better. So you can really control the conditions and then set it up to reward the players that are playing the best golf. And that means let's get the ball in the fairway so that you have control over your spin and trajectory, moving hole locations around so that if you are in the rough, there's some angles where you just can't go at hole locations. And when the rough isn't up and it's short, then it becomes kind of anybody's game. You're not necessarily penalized by hitting in the rough. And so I've seen that over the years. It's just the way the crew, Dave and his staff, have been able to set the golf course up because of course conditions.
Two of my favorite holes, and I don't know how much they've changed in your mind. 10, because you can bomb it there, but boy, you don't know. It's a blind tee shot. And same with 16, the same way. Those both, Mark, end up sometimes determining the golf tournament on the back nine on Sunday, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. 16 especially.
Yeah.
That used to be rarely driven, I would say.
Yeah.
Now it's commonly driven, and they'll even do it with a fairway wood, maybe 3-wood.
Wow.
Take it up over the trees. Again, hole location will dictate if you put that hole location on the left side towards the river and they miss it towards the river. Now all of a sudden you can make bogey or double. So it's become a really good short hole. When I played that hole in high school, it was you hit your fairway wood out in the fairway and you had 7-iron in or 8-iron in. It's certainly changed. Strength of these young guys and equipment, of course. But 16, the one year we had all 3 players in the last group make eagle. They all found a way to make an eagle on that hole.
Man.
It's still one of the legendary stories of the tournament and the club to have 100 people around there all watch them find 3 different ways to make a 2 on that hole is just incredible. So I agree with you. 10 has become one of those holes that if you pick that right line, you get it down there, kind of going down the slope, you can get it pretty close to the greens. So yeah, there's definitely some action, some fireworks on 10 and 16.
Give us an overview, some of the highlight names of guys that are in the field this weekend.
Well, we were talking off air a little bit. It's a different field this year. We only have one past champion, Patrick Stolpe. He's from Wisconsin originally, lives in Arizona now, but he's the 2009 champion. So Andre Metzger was signed up to play, but of course he's having some success on the Korn Ferry Tour. He's a past champion. It's really the year of the young guys, Don. Yeah. We have 3 past NDSU players that are professionals now. Nate DeZiel, this will be his first professional tournament. Nate's had a heck of a run this summer, state amateur champion. Birchmont, he's just done really, really well. Nate Adams, another NDSU young man turned professional this summer. And he'll be playing, of course, Lucas Johnson, who works for us at Sweet Shots, and he's been out playing now a couple of years. So there's 3 NDSU guys that, with their knowledge of the golf course and their level, their skill level, I expect they'll make the cut and they'll be right in the mix. So it's a young field. There's a lot of new names, so it should be really interesting to see who rises to the top on the professional side. On the amateur side, this is really the college.
Yeah,
it's almost like the clearinghouse. You got the Gophers here, St. Thomas, Bethel. We got players from Crookston, University of North Dakota, NDSU, Jamestown College. It's really an opportunity for these. University of Mary. It's really the timing of this tournament works out for these guys to come play before they kick off their season. So both on the amateur and professional side, it's loaded.
I watched just a bit of the USAM at Hazeltine, which it almost seems unfair. They played that golf course for that, but how big of a test is that, especially for those level of golfers, Mark, to play at Hazeltine like they did last week?
Well, it's a big golf course, right? I think they played it probably 7,600 yards. We're going to play about 7,000 yards. That's a big difference. And of course, when I say it's a big golf course, a lot of those approach shots are uphill. So you're hitting shots that require perfect contact and distance control. Really no room for error. And if you're playing from the rough, it can be a long day at Hazeltine. And I think that's where you see some of the discrepancies in scores. The guys that were able to get it down the fairway, get the ball under control with spin, trajectory, they scored well. Guys that didn't keep it in the fairway didn't play well. So, but I like a guy like Nate DeZiel went down there and played, didn't have his best stuff, but he comes back to Fargo and plays at the country club. Nothing wrong with the country club at all, but it's much more manageable golf course than Hazeltine. I think his psyche might be completely different, and I look for good things from him.
You are a great golf mind, so I'm going to defer to you on this. Who is the player of the year on the PGA Tour? Is it Scotty Scheffler since he's won everything, or Xander Schauffele because he won 2 majors this year?
Yeah, I think I think it depends upon the window you're looking through, right? For Schauffele to break through and to win, because the moniker hanging around his neck was he couldn't get it done, just couldn't get it done, and then he gets it done twice. That to me, now it's scary that we've put Scheffler on this, Scotty on this pedestal where we kind of expect the level of play that he gives us. He's kind of faded. I mean, he's an Olympic champion.
Yep.
That's a limited field, blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of leaning towards Schauffele just because of what he did in the context that he had not gotten winning 1 major in your lifetime is amazing. And then to do 2 in a season, to me, I'm kind of leaning that way, but you could make an argument either way.
Yeah. The PGA is playing at the BMW Castle Rock. Have you ever played out there?
No, but elevations is a real deal, So there's a lot of math in golf, anyways. And then now you have to start factoring whatever it is, 10%. But those guys, they sit on the practice range, and they have their monitors out there, and so they'll get dialed in with exactly carry distances, so they'll adjust. But you and I showing up the first tee out there, we might take us a few holes to figure out how far we hit our 7-iron.
Well, I saw Patrick Cantlay say that you got to walk like 8,000 yards with the hills. I mean, that's a thing too, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you've got a little hitch in your giddy up, a sore knee or ankle or something like that, it adds up over the course of 4 rounds for sure.
This is amazing. I'll throw this at you for people that maybe occasionally follow what Tom Hoge has done this year. I look at his official money he's made. He's had 3 top 10s. He's made, Mark, almost $4.5 million this season. And I know he missed a couple cuts. He's had a dynamite year. If he's able to make the Tour Championship, he's at Augusta again. I mean, that's a dynamite. He may not have won. That still doesn't mean it was a bad year.
Right. He was been a cut-making phenom, really, just quietly going about his business. Yeah, would he like to have some better Sundays? But, yeah, he's positioned himself. Just a remarkable run out there. It's really not easy to do, but obviously he's gotten comfortable. He's played the golf courses multiple times now, multiple years. That definitely helps. He's got a ton of game. I mean, when you're leading those stats on strokes gained approach, his iron game is so strong. It just really comes down, can you get a hot putter? And when you get that feeling, can you parlay that into another week and then your third week? But he's in great position. That's a fantastic year. Hopefully he just keeps it rolling.
Yeah. Be fun to see if he's at the Tour Champ. I mean, that alone, I think I had you on a couple years ago when he made it. I mean, we're talking Monopoly money if he's in that event next week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You made it. If you can get it to that event, you've made it. Anything at that event's just bonus money then.
It's great to see. I know you're going to be super busy. Looks like it's going to be a warm weekend, but hopefully a dry one. Have a great weekend. We'll talk soon. All right.
Hey, thanks, Dom. Thanks for all your work in the community.
Mark Great Johnson, job. Director of the Bobcat Open, year number 60 of it this weekend. Begins at Fargo Country Club beginning tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. I know for golf fans that are on the area, they love to get out and watch. And you heard Mark mention the field that's going to be there is elite. Guys we've had on our show, we featured during the Red River Am are going to be competing, some that turn pro. It will be a great field, and looking forward to see how that turns out over the next couple days. We'll break. We come back. We're going to fit in our Illinois State schedule preview. We continue our Missouri Valley Conference look ahead to 2024. Wrapping up hour 1 of Hot Mic. We're back after this.